So welcome everyone here tonight. My name is Erin Byrne and I'm the Head of Customer Success at Mathspace. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and their elders past, present and emerging. We aim to respect them, their history and their future by respecting and maintaining this land that supports us. And it's really lovely that everyone's sharing where they're joining us from tonight. There's a common perception that maths is a hard subject and you're either good at it or you're not. But the reality is that, like anything in life, everyone sits at a different level, but you'll always improve with practice, effort and the right support. And it's my job to help make sure teachers, students and parents get the most out of our platform and feel supported and confident while they're doing so. And that's what we want for your child, and it's really great that you've joined us here tonight. We started Mathspace 11 years ago based on the belief that every student can excel at mathematics with the right help at the right time. Our mission is to be the right help at the right time for every student. So we like to think of ourselves as a textbook and tutor in one to really support what teachers are doing every day with your children in school. So tonight we're going to look at how to find tasks and complete work assigned by your child's teacher, how to use Mathspace, the digital textbook in Mathspace, and how Mathspace works as a digital tutor as well. And finally, we're going to share an exciting new beta feature that we'd love you to use as well. So starting off, we'll look at the student dashboard. So this is the learning ecosystem where students can come to complete their class or homework, depending on how they're using it in their school. They can practice skills independently, and most importantly, they can see the growth in their mathematical skills. So the first thing a student sees when they log on is this page, and it's right at the top here is the assigned practice.
Just need to share your screen, Erin.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was. Thank you, Craig. All right, rookie mistake to start. Okay, sorry about that. So this is the student dashboard. And you can see here the first thing that we push is the assigned work by a child's teacher. This is obviously the priority for them, and this will support what they're doing in class. So to begin a task, you simply click on that and off they go. If work has been assigned by your child's teacher, it will appear under this assigned tab. They can go in there to look at revision under this past task section, as well as currently active tasks as well. As students complete their work on Mathspace, the results are shared with their teacher so they can best support your child and provide them the personalised support that they need. When looking at the active tab, there's also this option to hide overdue tasks, and that's to help them find classwork that's relevant at the moment, depending on how studious they are. So let's look now at the Mathspace textbooks. So here we have a typical curriculum structure. We have the year levels listed down the left-hand side here. And then the various strands or topic areas that run through the curriculum. And what's really important is that the foundational skills in early years have a big understanding and impact on the later years, the topics in the later years as well. In each school year, students are expected to learn a small component from each topic. So here we have an example of a Year 7 student. In their Year 7 textbook, they would have all these topics covered. So using the textbook view in Mathspace will give students access to all their grade level content. But the benefits of an online textbook is that it includes lessons, videos, worked examples, as well as adaptive practice exercises that we'll go into later. Students can access all the textbooks made available to them by their teacher just by clicking on the title of the current book over here on the left, and then selecting a new one if they need to work at a different grade level for some reason. So if we go back to this example of a Year 7 student, we know it's not uncommon for a student to have a gap or even multiple gaps in their knowledge from earlier years, which can be a real source of frustration and concern for both the students and parents as you're trying to address those needs for your child. And this is where Mathspace moves more into that digital tutor space. So what we recommend is completing regular weekly skills check-ins, and this will identify gaps in their knowledge, if there are any, or if they're working ahead of grade level as well. And it'll also measure the growth in their skills as they continue to practice and learn throughout a year. Obviously, they're spending a lot of time at home and in school learning these concepts, and we want that learning to be visible to them and to the teacher. By doing this, it also really helps develop their independent learning skills. So this is a routine we really want all students using Mathspace to do if they aren't already. The skills view helps identify any knowledge gaps, as I said. So rather than looking at all topics at a grade level, we look back at those earlier year levels as well to support a student's current learning. We use AI technology to understand a student's total knowledge state with just a few questions. And we have these all mapped to curriculum outcomes in a knowledge graph. So it informs those prerequisite skills to make sure a student's ready to learn a new concept. This is how we choose what to assess them on in their check-ins, and also to inform what tasks we recommend students to ensure they experience that success. So if we click in on the skills view here, we can see that students can go in and pick a learning focus for each strand just by clicking on the icons here and choosing what they want to work on. They're also presented with a skills map, and Mathspace prompts them to change their learning focus as they complete tasks assigned by their teacher. And that helps ensure that the recommendations Mathspace is making will always be relevant to their classwork. So you'll see here we have the at-grade content. Here I'm using an example of a Year 8 student. And underneath there's skills from prior year levels that will help support my learning. So if you encourage your child to focus on these earlier year level skills, it will be really beneficial for them. We've also found that many schools share the curriculum outcome codes with their students, so it will support their classwork. And they're listed down here as well, so they're really easy to find. Even though it's not explicit, the prior skills section is ordered by grade level. So getting children to start at the bottom of this list and working up will probably help them experience that success faster. And you can see there's different levels here. Obviously, they're working towards these stars, but a 3 is still demonstrating proficiency in that skill and working at a solid level. And the idea is that they complete these short check-ins, some of them are even 2 questions regularly, so they're gauging their understanding, and we can continue to inform that process, both on our end and for the teachers who are seeing this data. We've also found that because they're students completing check-ins continually see their progress, it really helps with that engagement piece, because they're really understanding what they can do to help and support their learning, and obviously seeing that they're growing in those areas too. So directly linked with these skills check-ins are personalised recommendations for practice tasks. There's different recommendation categories, and the task recommendations can be shuffled. So your child can still choose what they want to work on if they are doing independent work. So we're giving them that sense of ownership there. Once they select the task, they then enter their steps of working. And this is actually the same experience whether they are working independently or whether they're working on a task assigned by the teacher. You'll notice in Mathspace, as they're entering, they're getting these immediate steps of feedback, so they know they're on track to getting the right answer. Okay. So bringing it back in the student dashboard, you'll notice that my current learning focus is set to expressions and equations. Sorry, that's a bit blurry. I'll start this video. Based on what I've been working on recently, my learning focus has suggested to change to geometry, and then my recommended changes to practice changes to align with that. So it's always relevant to what's happening in class. Our product team have actually spent the last 6 months really focusing and testing different ways to improve the student experience on Mathspace. Because there is still that idea that maths is hard and challenging. And obviously, if you're already feeling challenged, another platform that's requiring a lot from you isn't well received. So the goals of our product team were to either increase learning without increasing frustration, or decrease frustration without decreasing learning while students are working and completing tasks in that digital workbook. So while skills check-ins test student skills, and it is more of a test-like atmosphere, the practice tasks they complete support their learning and consolidation of mathematical concepts. And the idea is this is a space where they can go in, make mistakes, try new things, get help and understand and learn. So with these images here, sorry, I'll skip forward. So to ensure this is done effectively, Mathspace offers step-by-step support when your child needs it. So whether they're working in class or at home, there are a variety of learning tools, including hints, videos, and lessons, and this new one, which is a worked example feature. And this is particularly helpful at higher levels where there's obviously multiple steps to answer a question there. We're noticing in our results that it's becoming a really popular option with students as well. And although Mathspace has always offered students these learning tools, we know that many students never use them for a variety of reasons. Some just didn't see them, some felt they were going to be penalised, and we wanted to make it really obvious that we were there to help and support them learn. And this has led us to a lot of the changes in the student experience. So now if a student makes a number of mistakes in a row, the hints and the videos will automatically pop up for them to use. The result of this is that students do seem to be engaging more with the hints and working out the final answer independently. In fact, these hints being more visible has actually shaped a number of the new features. We also now display them if a student tries to skip a step. That was something we picked on as a real indicator of student frustration when they were clicking and skipping steps multiple times because they wanted to move on. So now we're giving them that chance to re-engage with the material and feel a bit more supported doing so. We also now offer hints that support students with their mathematical notation without penalising them. And this is something that we know teachers really push their students to do, but it does require that constant practice to become a habit. So I put an example here of writing a pair of coordinates. In the example, you'll see they don't have the brackets written, and we pop this message up here. Just something interesting, our team actually experimented with accepting the final answer, despite the mistake in the notation, and still showing the message. But we found that students actually had a higher subsequent success rate when they were getting that message first, and we were encouraging them to write that in that correct format. So we're always trying to find those ways to push them while still feeling supported in that way. The impact of these changes, just to show you some of the data we look at, has been significant, and we're continuing to test new ways to support teachers and students to make sure we are true to our mission of being the right help at the right time. The best thing about having your child working on Mathspace, in my opinion, is all the data and insights that we collect and share instantly with your child's teacher, which they can then use to address and inform your child's learning path. But they're always feeling supported in that process. That is our aim. I'm going to pause there for a second and just jump over into Mathspace, just so you can see how this all comes together. So I'm currently in the skills view here. As I showed you, you can click in to any of the skills that you want to work on. This view with the outcomes is written here. I can see skills that I've mastered. I can see some that I'm close to mastering, so I might want to do a check-in, or I might want to practice there. Those options are available for me to choose. I also have my recommended practice up here as well, but you can always go back, view that, and try different things as well. I'm going to click over into the textbook tab just for the sake of me having all my pages open. I've already done that in a new tab. Just to show you an example of one of the lessons. So as you would imagine, if you're sitting in my age with a physical textbook, you obviously have the written concepts. But as I mentioned, we can now have these amazing interactives to help really visualize what's going on in maths. And this is really great, particularly for topics like geometry, where it is so visual as well. So all the topics are listed down there. As I said, you can access the lesson. You can access a set of static questions, or you can go in and start some adaptive practice there if you're working on that content. Finally, I've just popped a question up to show you the student workbook and how that works, and how they can type on there. So I have my help options down the right-hand side here if I need them, or I can enter lines of working. So there's keyboard shortcuts. If you're familiar with doing that, it's very quick to do. They can also use this toolbar underneath, and it prompts them. It shows the shortcut keys under there too. So I'm going to do my step of working here. If for some reason I got that wrong and I said, okay, I think Q equals 3, you see that they still get the opportunity to correct that mistake. If they're not sure why, they can use the hint that takes them, that provides it at that relevant step level, or they can simply go in and finish it themselves. I'm just in my preview question here, but obviously if they were working on a task, they would continue progressing through that task there. Okay. So I did promise a sneak peek of a new feature we're launching shortly. As you would have heard me talking about, we try to be a digital tutor. And that's because we know that the benefits of one-to-one teaching and support for students is so great. So we want to take our support to the next level, and we're introducing a tutor chat function, which will connect students with tutors who are vetted by Mathspace after school hours. So we're adding that human element in to help answer questions on Mathspace too when they get stuck. So over the next few months, we'll be providing this service free of charge for the early beta users, and we'd invite you to participate in this. We're very excited about this happening as well. So the QR code there will provide you with some more information, as well as a consent form if you do want your child or children to participate. just fill that in and you will join the waitlist for the launch. But at this moment, I could see there was a lot of things coming through. So Dan, I might just throw to you and see if there's any questions to answer at the moment.
Hi, thanks, Erin. I'm just having a look at the Q&A because I know our team have been answering a lot of people's questions as they go. A few people have asked about how they can access their kids' accounts.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I did forget that in that process, which I was supposed to show. So to sign up for those parent emails, which you'll receive weekly, you'll need to get your child to log into their Mathspace account. Once you're in there, if you go over and click on this right-hand icon and go into the settings page, you'll see here the section to add a parent or guardian's email. You type it in there and then you'll be subscribed to receive that weekly email as well.
Great, thanks, Erin. A couple of parents have asked if there is a separate parent login. I would just say that no, not currently. So you would have a look at your child's Mathspace account if you wanted to track kind of what they're doing in class, like Erin has showed today. But definitely if you add your email, like Erin just showed you, you'll actually get emails on a regular basis that would actually keep you up to date with what your kids are kind of being assigned in class and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll have all that information in there. We found it was actually more digestible in that weekly email format. And if you do have any questions, it's best just to talk to your child about that anyway. They'll be able to show you what they've been doing. I'm just looking at a question here. Will teachers recommend when our child needs support? Or will Mathspace automatically pick up and see where they need practice? In some instances, yes, that will be picked up by Mathspace, and in others, definitely. Like as I mentioned, all this information is feeding back to a child's teacher, which will then inform their instruction and practice as well. So they'll definitely tailor the work they receive to your child's needs as well. And obviously you can discuss that directly with them. Providing hints, will there be a possibility that kids get dependent, which is not what happens in exams? No, I wouldn't say so. We're wanting to help prepare students so they're learning, so they understand material come exam time. When they're completing check-ins, if they're doing that, those hint options aren't available. When they're working, we want them to learn and engage with the material. So we try to offer them as much support as we can. And obviously that's scaffolded. If they're able to do the work, they don't need to use those learning tools. They can answer the questions and move on. So I hope that helps. Dan, were there any other questions there?
Only some kind of more specific questions that the team have been answering on the go. Although Tiffany has just asked a good question. If a student realizes they make a mistake, can they go back and fix it?
Yeah, well, they can enter their line of working again, obviously, if they know how to correct it. The error still will be recorded there, but the idea isn't that they should feel penalized. They should celebrate that they have been able to correct that mistake themselves. And the teacher will see that they entered something incorrectly and obviously could then continue on and answer it independently. So I wouldn't worry about that. That actually, I just saw a good question pop up in the chat about adding more than one parent email. It isn't currently, but I'm hoping that's something that will be worked on in the near future, so that we will be able to add more than one parent email in there. I've had a request just in the last couple of minutes to do a skills check-in. Oh, which is on. I'm lucky that I have a demo account, so I won't get my math skills put to the test with 1,000 people watching me. That's a lot of pressure. So I will show you what they do. On a skills check-in, I would obviously select here. I'm going to do a 2-question check-in on this particular skill. Oh, sorry. So at this level, obviously you may be using calculators. You can have working out paper if necessary. And the idea here is to just enter the final answer. I have a nice demo tool here where I can go correct or incorrect. So I'm going to get these both correct. Obviously, your child will actually have to work out the maths. They won't do that there. And I can now see my growth in that particular skill because I was able to demonstrate those as well. Yes, I will make the recording available to you. I will also share all the materials from tonight. So if any other questions come up, you can feel free to reach out to our team. You can email me because I will be emailing all of you probably tomorrow or the next day, just with the recording link once that material is all available. And I will answer any questions as well that come up. And yes, their school teacher, that's the person I'm referring to when I'm saying the child's teacher, because of the most people here tonight have been asked by their schools, and obviously that was shared because it is a program that we have hundreds of schools around Australia using. I can also see there's a couple of teachers on the call, so I appreciate them coming to share their expertise as well. Okay, so I will end the recording there, and I thank you all very much for coming. As I said, our team's always available, so feel free to reach out with any questions.